what can be worse than a serial killer who stalks their prey, silently getting to them, ready to kill them? Well, what if that serial killer was a little girl? Today we're looking at Serial, a book by Terry Moore. Now, this is a great little story, and I chose it for our Scary Story Spectacular because it has a little girl who likes to murder people. And that, if that's not scary, listen, I don't know what kind of people you hang out with. You know, you should definitely check that out, reconsider your relationships. But this one's scary. It's a really good story. It's short. Here's the book. And let's jump in and see how terrifying it really can be. Okay, guys, so we're looking at Serial by Terry Moore. This is actually a really good read as well. It picks you up from the first episode or first issue, so we're going to look at that today. And again, published by Ryan Moore, colored by Brian Miller. Very cool. Revenge doesn't stop. Daniel Craig. Hey. Okay, so we see this girl here. You know, they're like lovers. They're at look-at point. You know, they're enjoying their time together. Hey, you know, well, you know what? You know, we're gonna make out, maybe a little bit more. And you see this guy. He's making his move, and his name is Brandon. He's like, hey, Kendall, you know, this guy's like, oh, you know, she's like, take me home or I'll call my dad. And he's like, oh, okay, geez, you need to let your panties and you need to get no need to get your panties in a bundle. 16 is when you can get a job and a boyfriend. And he's like trying to take advantage of her, and she jumps out of the car. And he comes out there. He's like, "Come on, get in the car, get in the car, Kendall, get back in the car, Kendall." And she's like, "I'm a minor, Brandon. How old are you? Like 30, 23, and don't say assault. That word sends people to jail." No, well, that's what you're gonna do because that's what you did. No. So he's kind of like, oh, she's like, you assaulted me. He's like, no, you know, calm down. She's like, don't touch me, and she's like, I said no. He's like, I didn't hear you say no. So it kind of makes it seem like he's the bad guy. Like, oh, you will, you know. And you heard me. I'm telling my father you're going to jail. He says no. So he grabs her hand. She kicks him, and oh, I felt that. Oof. And then he slips. He's falling. And he's over here. He's about to fall. He's like, help, Kendall, help, please, grab my hand. And then he kind of just falls. Kendall's like just looking at him. So then you're like, oh man. But then you see Kendall go in there, takes off her sweater. She cleans up her car, cleans any fingerprint basically, goes down the path, and look, she has a motorcycle hiding here. What? Was she planning all this the whole time? So she takes off in her bike, and she gets to a storage facility, as you can see there. And she takes off her wig. She was wearing a wig. All the clothes that she had on, she takes it all off. So she was, and then you see like a completely different person. Takes off the makeup, and does this like weird thing with her face to make it look like she's smiling. And changes everything basically about herself. And then as you can see there, I don't know if she's like removing the information over the camera that was recording her. She takes her car, closes it off, and she drives off. And then we jump over here, and we see this girl. She's dreaming, and as you can see here in the dream, like I like how it's realistic here, and then it jumps over to the dream where it's cartoony. She's like, "Mommy, mommy, are you there? I got the money you asked for, $10,000 cash." And then all these faces come out. It's like, well, come out and get it, mommy. And it's like monsters or bad guys, I guess you could call them. And then she goes with her toy, like flick, like her doll has like knives now at the end, and she jumps in to basically kill them, as you can see there. Crash! She's slashing them, hacking them, cutting off heads. 1-800-pervert. She basically hacked them. The atomic bomb, the atomic goo guy. He gets split. Gangsters split. Crocodiles split. Big guys split. And then these other guys are running. and she's like a juice break. And this Bigfoot, I guess, comes in to attack her, and she slaughters him. And then she says, "I always save the clowns for last." And he's like, "There's never a chicken around when you need one." And then she cuts off his nose. And she's basically having a good dream for her, of course. She gets a phone call, and it's basically somebody related to the Brandon who died earlier. And they're like, "Brandon was found dead at the bottom of the lookout point. The police are here to tell me," and now they're asking questions. So this girl knew, I guess, Brandon. And you just see her like jump into her van and head that way. She's gonna be. "Don't worry, Jill. I'll be there in 20 minutes." So you just kind of see her driving away. So that's the beginning of the first chapter. So it definitely had that hook, because you're like, oh, you think Brandon is the bad guy, but then you find out that that girl, Kendall, basically let him die. Look, so maybe she was planning to do that, and so he dies, and then you see that Jill, this girl, or Zoe, I think her name is Zoe, is related, or intertwined with that story. So it's very interesting because she has dreams of killing, bad guys, looks like. And then in the picture here, she of course has her axe. So it's interesting in that aspect, because it pulls you in. You're like, oh, okay, now I want to know what's going on. I could definitely show you what's going on. But no, you have to read it for yourself, guys. So this is just the first chapter of the spooky story of Serial. We have this at Organic Price Books, guys. Get it today, and I will see you in the next one.